My name is Jamal Mahjoub. I am a writer of British and Sudanese background. I have been publishing fiction, non-fiction, essays, so forth, in a variety of places, both books and in journals over the years. So that's basically it. Well, I write primarily about my own situation, so it's really about being between two countries, two cultures. My parents are mixed, so I was born in London, grew up in Sudan, and I've been moving between places ever since. So it's really about that sense of identity and how it connects to your roots and how it connects to the world that we live in. So everything that I've written has really been, even if it's about something specific, such as Sudan's history or contemporary issues, it's really also looking at it from the questions of identity. So questions of personal identity at the personal level, but also at the national level. What does it mean to belong to a country? What does it mean to belong to be included? And what are the different forms of inclusion that we negotiate as we go through life. And I think that many of these themes that I'm writing about are really very contemporary. I think this is very much the way that the world is, and it's becoming more so. So when I first began, perhaps it wasn't quite so clear, but right now I think it's constantly an issue that's, I think, a theme that people are talking about and concerned with. Well, it's given me the time and the space to concentrate on my writing. So I've been trying to finish a novel, actually several novels, and I've also been working on a non-fiction book, which is connected to what I was just talking about earlier, about themes of identity. So this is, the thing is that you're given an opportunity to be able to sit and focus on your work exclusively. So I would say that was one aspect. And the other aspect is, of course, interaction with other fellows, which gives you an intellectual stimulus. So you can draw on their experience, their expertise, their areas of expertise. So if it's a specific topic that they're specialized in. All of these things are, for me, very interesting, because I don't write with the idea of me sitting in a dark room inventing everything by myself. I'm very much interested in engaging with the world. So anything that gives me an angle on that gives me more information, that gives me more of an insight into how things work in areas that I would not necessarily think of or look into. Though that is very stimulating for you intellectually. And also conversations with my fellow creative writers, Banga and Mamdouh, have also been helpful or stimulating in the sense that when you're looking at somebody else's work, of course, you try to look at it through the prism of your own work, and you can gain insights into how other people approach these things, which can also be interesting for you. I think the Africa Institute is a really great, very inspiring idea, and I think that for me, it's really interesting to see that a place like this, see it coming into its own as it seems to be developing. It's still at an early stage. I'm very excited about the ideas of where it could go in the future. I think that it's the idea of having a center that can act as a focus for the entire African continent in an intellectual, academic way is really quite remarkable. I think I'm also very much in favor of anything that is not directly linked to the classical centers of the West, that takes us a little bit outside of that and constructs something there, which I think is in a way much more applicable, to the case of the African continent. I think that the idea of meeting intellectuals from Africa, from all over Africa, is an interesting one for me. Whatever their disciplines, whatever their area of specialization, it's interesting to see those people brought together in one place with this idea of developing this intellectual side, African intellectual educational side. All of that I find is really a great initiative. So I'm really hoping that it goes from strength to strength and that my relationship can continue in some way.